Another tear, another black dress, another grave. I stood in the crowd with an indifferent look. My mother held my hand tightly while she wept. I can still see my mother's face as she looked down at me, her eyes wide with disgust. "Why are you not sad?" she barked, turning towards me as we walked through the front door. "A person has passed away! How could you be so heartless?" Then, out of nowhere, she lashed out at me, leaving me on the floor alone. It was the first time she had laid a hand on me, and the last time I saw my mother as a normal person, and I had just attended my 17th funeral. The funeral of another complete stranger. My dad divorced my mom and disappeared. The day they divorced, my whole life changed. My mom began to take me to every funeral she could find, forcing me to keep silent for 4 to 6 hours, expecting me to pray for a person I had never met. I went to so many funerals that it just became normal. I would just sit there, emotionless, waiting for it to end. My mom started to notice. After every funeral, she would lash out at me. She told me again and again that I deserved it for being a bad, cold-hearted girl. I started to believe I was a bad person. It was my fault my mom didn't love me. I was homeschooled my whole life. I wasn't allowed to go out to play at the nearest playground. I wasn't allowed to take part in any fun activities. I wasn't allowed to have friends. I was allowed to watch TV 3 hours a day, but that time could be taken away depending on how good I was, or how sad I was at funerals. I was expected to be down all the time. I never understood why my mom was treating me like this. I had attended well over 60 funerals. I remember the day when everything changed. Out of the blue, my mother was run over by a drunk driver. She was gone instantly, the police officer told me. I was so surprised by the news, I just went numb. A few hours later, a man ran into the room asking, "Where is my little girl?" He saw me, sank to his knees, and held me. He burst into tears. I knew instinctively that it was my dad. After learning that my mother had passed away and I had no other guardians, the police had contacted my biological father. He immediately booked a train ticket and rushed to see me. But he was the one who left me with my crazy mother. He was the one who allowed this all to happen. But as soon as I saw my father, I realized that I don't despise him. I don't know why, but his love made me feel calm. We left the police station together. He took me to a nice restaurant and then to a hotel. He sat me down and told me everything. After the divorce, the custody should have been split, but my mother took me to this small town miles away so my father couldn't find me. She kept him out of my life, and he had always wanted to find me and bring me back. He explained that she was ill, suffering from ADD, bipolar disorder, and OCD. She was also an excellent manipulator, making my father marry her and using me in the process. She loved him very much, in her own way. The divorce had taken a heavy toll on her, and her condition got worse, sending her completely off the rails. It suddenly all made sense. My mother was using me as her happy medicine. She took me to those funerals so I would break. She needed an unhappy daughter to feel happy, and in the process, she had stolen my childhood. The truth made me sick. My father and I stayed in town together until the funeral. I was finally attending the funeral of someone I knew, but that someone, ironically, now felt like a stranger. During the ceremony, neither of us wept. When it was time for final goodbyes, I said, "You got what you deserved," and I left her forever, never to return. I'm 23 now, and I have a wonderful family, a loving father, and a stepmom who treats me like her own daughter, 2 half-siblings, and the best grandparents ever. I still see a therapist to deal with what my mom put me through, but I consider myself lucky to have the family that I've got. I know that I am my own person, and I will never let anyone use me for their personal gain again.